Hey yo, what's up? What's going on? What's good, everybody? The Boxing Source here is live Sunday, Mayfair, Cinco de Mayo, 2024. Hopefully you're able to hear me pretty good. Still over in Las Vegas, right in the middle of the strip, like there's no action going on and going down here in the middle of the strip. We're trying to get through this as fast as possible. Got a couple of things going down here, still in Las Vegas before I roll out. But we're gonna knock this out here pretty quickly. Wanted to talk about, of course, Canelo versus Munguia. Have a great guest here that's on with me already. Shout out to the guy on here once again. Lord is in the building. What's happening with you, man?
What's good, family? What's good, man? Pieces and blessings.
Man, hopefully you're able to hear me all good, and you don't have any background noise, because like where I'm at, there's like like one of them parties is going on across the street, man. You know how it is out in the strip. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't really
things
hear
are
nothing, though,
bumping.
to be honest.
Yeah, that's what's up then. Yeah. Well, shout out to StreamYard and not picking up the background noise like that. Because yeah,
Shout out
that
to
was
them, man.
bumping. Yeah. So yeah, I was able to, be in there, make it into the fight card for Canelo versus McGee. I'm telling you, that was a crazy scene, crazy situation, crazy story, for another day. But wanted to get into the fight itself. It was pretty good there within the first few rounds. And, for me, I was, kind of impressed with Jaime Munguia, particularly in the first few rounds and what he was doing in the first few rounds,
Come
because
on, bro. Stop it.
not for real, because I did not expect him to, kind of like move a little bit, move around the ring or whatnot. It was just after that fourth round when Canelo caught up to him, that's when it was like, okay, pretty much like go to school. And that's why I pretty much said, like in the title, that there are levels in this game. You can have a quick start, but if you show those lapses in defense like Munguia has, then Canelo's going to make you pay every single time. And in that fourth round, when Canelo was able to land a left hook, right uppercut, left hook combo, then Munguia down to the canvas, you didn't really see that much aggressiveness from Munguia after that, because once you did, you seen Canelo enter back and kind of like make him pay.
I
It was
think
like one
Canelo
moment.
carried him.
Yeah, in a sense he did. And here was like one example, right? Where Munguia looked like he could have had a shot to get Canelo. It was the seventh round. Canelo gets back to the ropes. Munguia throws combinations or throws like a flurry of punches, right? But all of them punches were like arm punches. Like whether they landed or not, they were arm punches. So didn't have effect on Canelo at all. And then Canelo answers back with like, 2, 3, 4 punches, and pretty much like all of them had like emphasis behind it. And you see Munguia back up. And once you seen that, then it was like, man, yeah, you I guess, like he was saying, Canelo was carrying him like he was carrying Jermell Charlo in
Yeah,
September. But at least with this one, at least Munguia kind of like made it more of a fight. You know what I mean? At least he had
yeah.
some type of an effort in this one.
I've
You
seen a
know,
lot of
but
scorecards regarding this fight, and I just don't know what everybody was seeing. This fight wasn't close. This fight
I
wasn't close.
I didn't think it was close either. Like you had
And the
those
first, I
scorecards
gave
like one of
Munguia
them,
round three. I gave Munguia. I think round one was close. But I
right?
still edited the Canelo because Canelo, he's the one who gave me the eye popping punches, even though Munguia threw more. Canelo gave me the eye popping punches. Canelo clearly won round two. Round three was another close round, but I ended up giving the Munguia just because the activity was crazy. But after that, man, I did not give this nigga one round but one. You feel me? But everybody, I'm seeing these scorecards about it's tied 3-3, 47-47. I'm like, how? Like, what are you guys watching, though? Like, how is this tied?
Yeah, like the joint. I forgot who was doing the official scorecards there for PBC on Prime, but like after what it was like round 8 or 9 or something, he had Canelo well ahead. From that point.
You're
So
speaking that
it was like 38
Goosen, then
to
Goosen does drugs.
No, come on.
You hear what that boy
No.
said last night? He said that shit in 2 different times. He said Munguia beats everybody at 168, not named Canelo.
Come
He said that in
on,
2 different instances, bro. I'm like, he does drugs.
man. Hey, shout out to Matt Gomez in the building here live, man. He did not show me anything. He says that what Jamal Charlo would do real good against Saul Alvarez, and he also says that Munguia is green there. Well, I mean, he showed that he was not particularly ready for a guy the caliber of Canelo Alvarez. But yeah, back to the thing. How do you have that type of a comment? And you know what though? I've seen who was that? Was it Oscar that said that too? That version of Munguia like beat anybody at 168. I'm like, come on, yo.
He doesn't beat my Billy. And they both suck. They both are similar levels of ass, bro. But it'll be an entertaining fight.
I'm like, yo, like what? I don't know what was the thoughts of like folks there
Well,
like
I
seeing
gotta
that.
ask
I
you
mean, it
this.
was
I've
like
been reading.
it was like they were too impressed with what it is Munguia's effort in the course of this fight, man. That's what it was. I think they were really impressed with his effort that they were kind of like saying, oh, he can really compete against some of the top guys there at 168. And I'll mention a few of them because there was a lot of stuff going on with that
But
within 168 during the weekend, man. It was
JR,
very interesting. Yo,
I,
all right,
I,
what's
I
the
need
question?
you to validate my conspiracy theory real quick. Because you're close to
Okay,
the
we got it.
you close with Shield, so you might know what's going on with Morrell. So the WBA basically put Berlanga over Morrell for who gets to fight Nalo, right? For his belt, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That happened, right?
yeah.
So my conspiracy theory is that happened because not because they skipped Berlanga, but is it possible that somebody can't make 168 no more? And that's why the WBA did that.
Well, the thing is, Shields Coach Ronnie said that the thing with Morrell, like he could have that. He has that fight. It looked like going up against what it was uh Radovich Kaladzic, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have that fight against Kaladzic, and then like pretty much like after that, we'll see what happens there because that's going to be at what is it 175. That's still at light heavyweight. But he said like David could still go back down to 168. But it's like it's almost similar to the thing there with Benavidez, faced Kovacic. So it's like, okay, both of these guys are having fights at 175, when they could still, try to get in a good fight at 168 against Canelo. But
So in other
that
words,
whole thing that's going down, but the thing with the Kovacic, I mean, that kind of like, that completely eliminates Morrell, facing Canelo anytime soon there. And the thing here with David Benavidez, he's going to be fighting on June 15th. So if you got those two that'll have those fights coming up, then what else is left? And you got it like Edgar Berlanga, which I don't think that many people will be all too interested in that particular fight. They probably would be more interested in Edgar Berlanga fighting Caleb Plant after them two going at it
nah,
on Friday.
I think Canelo and Edgar Villegas could still do 300 pay-per-view buys off of Canelo's name alone. And he just
Well,
add a little rap.
I gotta see like what this particular fight got, for pay per view buys because you got the Amazon Prime and the DAZN, dual thing going down for this particular fight. But I like to see those numbers because that would kind of like determine what Canelo's overall uh, effect is.
Hey,
You
yo,
feel me?
that card was trash.
Come on, man. I mean,
That card, that card was a
the
step
only
above
one.
her.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. The only fight that kind of like went anywhere near what I was kind of like looking forward to was that first fight on the pay-per-view card with Stanios versus Maestre. And that's because,
Nah,
those two guys had like a little bit of familiarity with each other. But I was impressed there with Stanios over the course of that fight.
nah,
Um
that fight started off hot. That fight started off looking like it might have been fight of the year, but after 5, 6 rounds, it became apparent that okay, Masters doesn't have enough foot movement and power to keep Ortiz from coming forward, Steelness from coming forward, and Stenosis doesn't have the power to hurt this dude. The fight kind of got dog shit. It kind of got rinse repeat. I ain't gonna after 6 rounds, that shit was whack. And then that Brandon Figueroa fight sucked balls. And then there's another
oh
one.
my god.
There's
The
another one.
Barrios
Huh?
versus
Oh my God.
Maidana.
I keep telling you guys Barrios suck and you guys never want to listen to me, bro. That dude is so trash, bro. Fabian Mordanes is the type of fighter you run over. And then
Yeah, I mean,
the
he had the early knockdown on Maidana, and then the thing was, it was like he had some good moments where he was consistent with the jab, but it was almost like he was a little bit tentative from what Maidana was throwing, So that's going to be interesting. But I'm gonna say this though, I will look to see if I could get some comments out there from um, Barrios' coach there, Bob Santos. So I would like to see how that kind of like shapes up. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
we'll
Ryan
see how that
Garcia.
goes.
I think if Barrios gets elevated to the WBC champion, I should Ryan Garcia should go after that. That's a winnable fight for you.
Yeah, man.
Barrios.
Matt says Caleb Plant beat a 678-year-old Darrell. He can't crack an egg. Berlanga would give him work. Man, I don't
Matt
know,
Gomez,
man. I don't know about that.
Matt Gomez, you about to make me side with the white man, bro. That white boy's gonna destroy. He's gonna box circles around Berlanga, man. Berlanga
Yeah,
stinks, man.
like that.
Berlanga
Come on,
stinks, bro.
like
Caleb Plant to
Berlanga.
box circles around him, bro.
Like if you put Berlanga against a Caleb Plant or David Morrell Jr., who like Berlanga was talking trash to David Morrell Jr. too. Shoot, you got like Jamal Nello. Well, we'll see if he's gonna compete again there.
Pacheco, whatever is that guy named Pacheco, whatever his name,
Yeah, but
Pacheco.
I've been saying that the Berlanga versus Pacheco is the fight to make at 168. That should be it to kind of like decide like who would be that next guy to be around that
That's
bottom
not
part of
fair
the
to me.
top 10 at
That's not fair to me
168.
because Belango's not at that level. You feel like I told you. I think what happened with Belanga was that 16 straight knockouts was the worst thing that happened to him because it forced people. It kind of sped up his progression too fast because they started putting him in bigger fights that he wasn't ready for, bro. I think that shit really
Mm-hmm.
started his growth, dog. Because he's. I don't know how somebody could watch him and be like, yo, that guy's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see where where that kind of like factors in, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah. Honestly, I think
Berlanga, like, what was the that's right. He had the thing where he had the stoppage, but still like he- he's not in that type of level. Like like he said, man, like Christian and Billy would probably,
Berlanga
give him
Berlanga would make Caleb Plant overrated. That's how terrible the fight would look. People will come out that fight overrating Caleb Plant. That's the type of person Berlanga would be for Caleb Plant. We'll have us thinking Caleb Plant was the greatest thing we ever seen, bro.
oh man. I guess you say it would be that bad if Caleb playing for Edgar Berlanga, man. Yeah, that's something there though.
You think
Now,
Berlanga could beat Durrell right now? Like this, the version of Durrell that just got knocked out by Plant. Do you think Berlanga could beat that version?
oh, oh man, I don't even know about that. To be honest with
Can
you,
he beat the David Lemieux, the version of David Lemieux that got knocked out by Benavidez? Even that version of him, can he beat
yeah,
that?
he could beat that David Lemieux. He could beat that David Lemieux. Like,
Yeah.
sure. Big ups for everyone listening live on YouTube and now on X. If you want to, chime in and have your comments, you could go over to the YouTube channel, The Boxing Source on YouTube, and join the chat on there to
Do
get
you
your
think?
takes on that. I
You
want to,
think?
go ahead.
Do you think Berlanga could beat Lil Charlo's wife?
Oh, come on, man. We ain't going that far. Come on, let's not even get to that point, man. Going back to this thing here, Canelo and Munguia, right? Um, you know, in the post fight press conference, um, like when Munguia was out there and Oscar De La Hoya was, in the row with them, Oscar and Bernard Hopkins and Freddie Roach, the trainer there for Jaime Munguia. The one of the media members kind of like brought it at this fight between Canelo and Munguia, and I kind of like mentioned it there before the fight. Like it kind of like had inklings of when you had Canelo coming up, building that record of like 44-0 or whatever it is, going
Do
up
not say
against.
that thing you about to say. Do
Well,
not
it
say
was
that. Please do not say that.
I know, but the problem was like even then, like Canelo had at least had a world title, or basically was almost like unified at that point, because he had beat Austin Trout, which that was a questionable affair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of that, we had a chat with Austin Trout on War Week Radio or War Week Boxing. So you could check out that channel there real quick with that conversation with Austin Trout as he goes over what happened in that particular fight, which was crazy, right? But yeah, they had compared this to Floyd versus Canelo back in September of 2013, and I'm like, nah, it ain't quite like that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, hold up, though. This is.
I agree. I agree.
And Danny Jacobs was slap Jaime McGinn. Oh, speaking of Daniel
That's a
Jacobs,
good fight
remember
to
there
put in
was
Brooklyn.
hey, that would be a good fight to put in Brooklyn. But you had the whole thing with Daniel Jacobs and Edgar Berlanga with the face off too. So
Yeah.
maybe you can have something like that. Bring out Daniel Jacobs there against Edgar Berlanga, man. Let's see what Berlanga would do there, man.
That'll be a sink or swim fight for Berlanga. Like you feel me?
Right.
You can stop spending money now. You feel me? Or you feel me? It can show you if he has any type of legitimate. Here's a good fight. I know there's a little weight difference, but Berlanga versus Jake Paul, that's more of his level.
Oh my God.
Jake Paul might
Berlanga.
knock him out. Jake Paul might
Oh,
knock out
shoot.
Berlanga.
Oh my God, yo. That's wild, yo. That's different.
How about
Oh
this?
my
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Little
versus
Chavez,
Berlanga.
Berlanga, Little Chavez ain't coming out of no retirement. That dude is well done. He's cooked.
Yo,
He
he's
is
super
cooked.
cool. Off that coke, and I think he might be, a little questionable in the masculine area.
Hey, we ain't even gonna go that round right now.
Oh,
Munguia, right? Okay,
yeah.
he has his first loss. I felt like I think here we kind of like off a little more than he could chew. Um, I wasn't necessarily sure that he would be ready for this particular fight against Canelo Alvarez. Um, Now it's like, okay, what's next for him? I know that Oscar being the promoter, therefore Munguia saying like, hey, Canelo had lost for Mayweather and built himself up to be eventually the face of boxing. Munguia, like I don't see where that kind of like factors in here for Munguia. Um,
Neither.
I still feel like he would have to build himself up to a level to kind of like get to that point, and would have to like wait until all these other guys that are around 168, 175 to be basically out of the paint. Now I know that Golden Boy won't do this, and we mentioned this guy's name already, right? Um, Diego Pacheco. He's still like up there around that contender spot there at 168. And with Jaime Munguia losing, that's going to bring Munguia down in the WBC and WBO rankings. And Diego Pacheco is like, right there, behind him, so to speak. So like, why not? What about that particular fight? I would like, if you can't put in Pacheco against Berlanga, then go ahead and put Pacheco against Munguia and then see who comes out of that. You know,
I mean, yeah, I don't think that's something. I don't think that's something Golden Boy's gonna do because depending on how the pay per view numbers come back, if it's successful, I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna get creative with their matchmaking. Like they're gonna drag people from lower weight classes that have a name. You feel me? Do the little Nello weight experiment again. Do shit like that. You feel me? And then when a title opens up of somebody weak, then they jump on it. I think that's what they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna be worrying about going for titles, title eliminators, big fights, guys like Pacheco. I don't think they're gonna do that. They're
yeah, I
gonna
think
go on a creative fight tour. They're gonna go on a creative fight tour. That's what they're about to do.
maybe yeah, they might do the whole thing where Munguia is back in like Mexico or California or something like that. Where he was getting pretty good crowds up to the point of him getting a fight with Canelo Alvarez. And still try to build that record up. So he could be like 40, 45, 6, and then 47 or whatever it is, and still try to get himself back in the mix. I mean, this is already like his second fight this year, and it wasn't like he took too much damage here in this fight against Canelo. So hey, you can see him back in the ring, later this year, but it depends on like how much he got paid, off of this. I mean, they said it was a 6 million, off top. So he gets paid that 6 million, and then we'll see what happens with the pay-per-view back in what deal they got for that.
Man, I'm telling you, they gonna drag motherfuckers up from 154 and shit. Niggas up from 160, half retired niggas with names. That's gonna be his next run. They're gonna try to milk this train. No risk. The only risk they're gonna take if it involves Canelo money, they'll take it. Like let's say Benavidez hypothetically gets the Canelo fight and he beat him. Something like that, because there will no be money involved. But right now, nah, they about to chill.
Mm.
They about to chill, bro. You have your hopes too high, man. You just want to check it in. You got your
Yeah,
hopes too high.
that's gonna be it. But you got that on that side for Munguia, and we kind of like touched on the Canelo. It almost seems like it's inevitable that is going to be Edgar Berlanga. Like
Yeah.
every other potential opponent already has something lined up. You got the thing like I said with Morrell. You got of course Benavidez is going to be on the tank card June 15th. And even some that had that long shot, before we had the thing announced. Terrence Crawford is going to be fighting in August, so
Yep. And
so that just
that undercard looking look. Wait, hold up. I'm glad that you brought up that undercard because a potential fight in that undercard that's pissing me off. That everybody's excited about it. People's talking about it, and it's so disrespectful. Is this potential Wilder versus Anderson stuff? The reason it's disrespectful is because like, wow, why is Zhang an automatic win for Wilder? Why is that a thing?
I mean I don't understand it. But
You know,
but that
I'm rooting
yeah
for Wilder to
but yeah
win.
it kind of like signals that, right? Because when this card was announced, and then before they added the thing there with Wilder and Anderson, when they initially announced the card, one of the fights that was on the card was the thing there with Tenzu and Virgil Ortiz Jr. Now, of course, we know what happened with Virgil Ortiz and Thomas Delorme, but
Mm-hmm.
regardless of that, like whether like Delorme would have had a super duper upset or Virgil Ortiz could have had something where he could have got cut, you can't kind of announce those type of fights well in advance, especially when they have one of those fighters has another fight ahead of them. So
Especially when you just did it with Wilder, with the Wilder versus AJ shit, with the Parker fight in front of it. You just did that shit and it blew up in your face.
mhm.
And then you gotta do it
so
again. But like I said, I want Wilder to knock out Zhang if it gets me the AJ fight. But I don't care if it gets me the big baby Anderson fight. I don't care.
that we'll see how that goes there, but that kind of like involves the thing with top ranking, I guess a hand advised fighter there. So that's how
And,
that would kind of like work out. Ooh,
so are you guys starting to see the light? What I've been telling you guys for years that Tank Davis is a bozo.
that who?
That Tank Davis is a bozo.
Oh man, I wanted to wait on that whole thing, man. That's
Well,
like kind of like that's kind of like the last thing on the docket here. Well, I'll try to go through this here real quick.
okay,
We're about 30 minutes in.
I'll let you go through the.
Wanted to. Well, we got, of course, what's coming up. Man, that's gonna be tonight, right? Yeah, tonight. So what is it? 4 a.m. Eastern time, 1 a.m. Pacific time. You're gonna have the fight card over at the Tokyo Dome, headlined by the undisputed super bantamweight championship, Naoya Inoue versus Luis Nery. There, of course, Luis Nery is one of the most hated people in Japan of all time. It seems like, or whatever it is.
In Japan,
And
ever, ever,
Japan
dog.
ever, right? And the thing was, who was the guy that he defeated, man? That was like, the Yamanaka fight in 2018.
Yamanaka twice,
Yeah. So he beat him
twice, and he was
twice.
juicing, and then he came out overweight the second time.
Yeah. Like he come in at 121 pounds, man. Like, come on, man. That's wild. And so, the fans in Japan have been waiting
Yeah, then
like
the
6
fight
years.
ended.
They've been waiting 6 years for this, man, and they had the whole Tokyo Dome sold out for this fight. There with Naoya Inoue, of course. I have Inoue there at the top two there in pound for pound rankings. But hold up though, before I get into this here a little bit, might have to catch up on the Canelo versus Munguia fight because I got another guest on here, established guest. The Boxing Academic is in the building. What's going on, Boxing Academic?
Not much. How y'all fellas doing tonight?
Man,
Man,
I'm just ready. I'm ready to wrap up this show, go to sleep, and wake up for the fucking anyway card.
yeah.
I know JR said let's wait to talk about it. I got my thoughts. As a observer who hasn't watched enough of anyway, but I'll
Yeah.
wait.
So, but yeah, you. I know you had takes on the Canelo versus Munguia. I kind of like felt like it was Munguia that had like a little bit of a start, but like it was Canelo's experience that overwhelmed him, and kind of like seeing him tentative after the knockdown. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like how I had it. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. If you had to just say one sentence for the fight, that would be the one sentence. After the knockdown, Munguia was definitely more tentative. If you say early in the fight, you could see Munguia was, feeling himself, beating his chest in a sense, kind of making everyone question was Canelo old. For the first 2-3 rounds, you had to question, was Canelo old and would he be able to sort of keep up the pace with Munguia? And for me, I probably gave him 2 of the first 3 rounds, and you could arguably say you give him the first 3, but definitely 2 of the first 3. And then I don't know if the knockdown was in the 4th, but
Yeah, it
Canelo.
was. It was.
Okay, so Canelo started kind of like lulling him, and I don't know if Munguia was like taking a break, but it wasn't until he stopped throwing as many punches, and then he was being more selective with shots, and it's just like Canelo lulled him. I say that, but he kind of did this little mesmerizing thing where the pace got slowed down enough, and Munguia wasn't throwing like shot, 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 shot. He was just shot shot, shot, shot. He wasn't like just throwing so many shots. And then, they start both getting on the front foot. And I mean, he was having a little success on his front foot. And then, with Canelo lulling him to sleep, shit, we know he can't block punches. So he thinking about offense, and then his hands go down, and then Canelo had saw him make that move 2-3 times, and then he had a fast uppercut. It was a quick uppercut. It wasn't one of them powerful uppercuts. I mean, it was powerful, don't get me wrong, but the power came from speed. It wasn't one of them like Canelo try to like take your head off uppercuts. It was just like I want to get this uppercut off quick. And because of the speed, that's what generated the power, the speed. And then from there, at some point in the middle rounds, obviously Canelo was winning a lot of those middle rounds. And then Munguia, to me, looked like he was definitely questioning himself, but he was more so questioning what can he do? And he was questioning like it's almost like he was like, what the, like, what can I do that, like he was
Ooh.
say it again.
Oh, okay, because you kind of like reminded me of something with that one. So continue.
Yeah, so he was just indecisive. He was definitely questioning himself, which is, if you're a older guy in Canelo, once you do that to a fighter, once any fighter makes the other fighter start questioning himself, that's no different than Crawford Spence. That's no different than Andre Ward, Kovalev too. Once the person starts like questioning themselves, the fight ain't necessarily over, but you kind of got them. You got them where you want them to be. And so Munguia's questioning himself. He ain't throwing as many shots. And then at some point, either the corner or somebody was like, hey man, last few rounds, exactly like round 11, 10, 11, 12 or up in there, they was like, hey man, if you don't throw shots, you definitely won't win. Like, if you just keep going pace for pace, and then, try to win it at the last few seconds with a flurry, and then he hitting you with these heavy shots, you ain't gonna win this fight. You got to go for it. You got to let your hands go like you did early. And then the fight kind of got more competitive at the end, where he started throwing shots. And it was him throwing shots and Canelo landing the better shots and landing the heavier shots. And at some point, I think he started taking the shots better, because at some point he wasn't getting thrown around by like every shot that Canelo land. And obviously fatigue had something to do with that, as well as, how people just sort of settle in on the fight, and then add in fatigue. You can take the shots a little bit better. And that's a point where Crawford said, maybe Canelo was coasting him, in a sense. He was like floating him.
He was carrying that bomb.
Carrying him. There you go.
He was carrying that bomb. I don't know why you guys keep painting this picture like the first 3 rounds was like amazing, bro. He won 1 round, bro. He got carried, man.
Nah, he won 2 in my book.
Real quick, man. Shout out to L Dub Boxing in the building, man. Bug on Twitter, man. I was able to run into him out here in Vegas. Well, we had the Box Fan Expo during the afternoon, so I was able to catch him there at the Box Fan Expo, man. Good to see brother L Dub in the building, man. Yo, Zoe's basically saying like Canelo was carrying Munguia like he was carrying Jamel Charlo in his last fight.
Nah,
man, round 1, like listen, round 1, Round one, I had run as a toss up round, but I gave it to Canelo because the eye popping punches came from him. It's just Munguia had the activity, but I didn't see nothing of note that could say he won that round. Round two is Canelo won round two easily, but my issue with round two, that's the only round if I was a Canelo supporter that had me worried because I think Canelo threw like 55, 60 punches that round. And then that was a little concerning to me. So I'm like, okay, is this the pace he's gonna fight at? Because he might gas, because we know who Nello is. But then we got round three. That's the round I gave Munguia. I felt like Munguia really landed some big shots, but Canelo's chin was steady. After that, even throughout that first three rounds, Canelo's demeanor told the story of the fight. He stayed in the pocket calmly and didn't give a fuck of where I was coming at. He just stood there, picked them shits off, and landed his counters all fucking night, bro. And when Munguia did land something big, that boy got greedy and started throwing a bunch of shit and got caught with something big immediately. That's what happened. Every time he landed something big, he got greedy. So I disagree with you with he wasn't sure of himself or he was questioning himself, because every time he landed something big, his shit just started flowing. That's what got him caught a bunch of time with big shit. But if Canelo
who did I
would
say was
stop
questioning himself?
Munguia.
So you don't think that it was some point the look on his face was like he was trying stuff and then it wasn't working, and then
I think outside of
you
round 10, the round he got knocked down in is the round he landed his most punches, though, because he got up and started firing shit. I think he landed 21 punches in round 4. I think he only had one other round where he landed more punches, though. You feel me? So like, no, I disagree. I
Man,
disagree. He got up there. He got up and did the typical Mexican shit and got busy. He just didn't get busy intelligently because he's not intelligent. So
if I look at my notes,
disagree
I
with it.
could
I
tell
don't think
you
he.
where
I don't. I
I
think.
felt that.
I think like it's just Canelo. You started seeing it coming before he got knocked down. You started seeing it coming in that exchange that Canelo started to get shit down pack. He got that jab down pack. He
yeah,
started countering the jab with a jab and overhand. He started to get that shit down pack. And
yep.
then I was like, I went to the group chat. I'm like, this shit not gonna last long. But Canelo chose to leave it, to let it go, further. Dog.
I'm gonna go
I
through my
mean,
scorecard since you went
Munguia
through yours.
still.
all right. What you got for your
Munguia
scorecard there?
food, man. Munguia food.
All right, so round one, I said Munguia. Munguia threw more in the first part of the round. Canelo came on later and won a last bit of the fight, but I gave to Munguia. Round 2, Canelo. Round 3, Munguia. Round 4, the knockdown. So Canelo, got his 2 points. Round 5, Canelo. Round 6, Canelo. 7, Canelo. Canelo shots keeping Munguia at bay. Munguia hurt to the body. That's round 7. Round 8, I scored an even fight, but I was leaning toward Munguia because Munguia was overloading Canelo with shots, and then he kind of blew his wide, and then Canelo landed some clean one shots, and then Munguia threw more in the last 20 seconds. And with the shots that were landing on Munguia, I made a point. They may have to save Munguia from himself soon because he was taking shots so clean, and then it was just how hard they was hitting him. Round 9, Munguia. Round 10, Canelo. Round 11, Munguia, and then round 12, Canelo. So I had an 8-4 Canelo with one tie round. So 8-4 and a tie round. But the round that I said Munguia was questioning himself. Let me see. Round 5, Munguia's zeal is leaving him. Canelo heavy shots are visibly weakening Munguia. Munguia started to look lost at one point in the round. So go back and look at round 5. You know how you be missing shit.
Well,
Hey,
it's
I
like,
got you.
yeah, but the thing, like you said, after the knockdown in round 4, then I think what happened with his round 5 is where you kind of like see Munguia kind of be a little bit hesitant in what he wanted to do, but also you're talking about the where Munguia was kind of like questioning himself, but also the effort from him to try to like make adjustments. And it goes into the trainer that he has. Yeah, he kind of like looked a little bit better there in his second fight under Freddie Roach, but the the style that Munguia has is the typical fighter that Freddie Roach usually has. You know, it's like a very aggressive style, a come forward style, there to try to overwhelm, the opponents there. But if you go up against a guy that's a better counter puncher or has great defense, then you don't really see that many adjustments from those guys that Freddie Roach has. So you do have that. Shout out to Richard Hutchinson. That's joining in here, pretty much like a first timer here on the Boxing Source on YouTube. Thanks for joining in. He has a comment there. I want to see Canelo versus Benavidez next. Yeah, a lot of people do. A number of people have, talked about it. They brought it up during fight week. They brought it up during fight night. And well, I mean, like I said, you have Benavidez that's going to be facing Alexander Gvozdyk on June 15th there at 175, and I don't, I don't really think that that particular fight is going to happen anytime soon. Yeah,
I was about to say, don't hold your breath.
It's not happening.
Exactly.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not happening.
happening. Yeah,
Right.
Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga.
Right. Yeah, we getting Canelo versus.
Oh man, I don't know. I might try to go get a few fights at 168 to see if I could get a fight dog before it's all said and done.
Get a fight with Canelo. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I got a better shot than Benavidez do.
I guess some people say if Canelo faces like a Munguia, Berlanga, maybe a William Skull or whatever it is next, and maybe we will be able to fight for another 5 years. But that that's a whole different story. All right. Let's jump back into this thing there. Inoue versus Nery, Tokyo Dome coming on tonight over here in the States. Like I said, I got Naoya Inoue ranked number 2 in the pound for pound ranks on the Boxing Source, just under Terrence Crawford. This one, like I said, Japan is really rooting for Naoya Inoue to punish Luis Nery and put him straight to the gulag, sir. Send him straight to hell or something. You know what I mean? So
everybody in Japan, and I mean everybody.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there with this fight. I mean, Nery, there's like a 5'5". I just don't see him being fast enough anyway. So he's not going to be fast enough in this one. So while
he can punch, he can punch, he can box, he can counterpunch, he can do everything, but that speed thing is going to be an issue.
Yeah,
that speed thing is going to be an issue. Not only that speed thing going to be an issue, it's also I question, because I used to be a big Nery supporter. I just question how good he really is ever since he went up to 120. I'm thinking like, was he as good as I thought he was? Was he only good because he was juicing to make 118?
Right. I mean, like you had the whole thing last year with that fight of the year candidate against Azat Hovhannisyan there. But yeah, outside of that, like some of the fights that he's had, like they were like at 122 or whatnot. Like he's faced Alameda, he got knocked out by Figueroa. I remember that fight where he got stopped by Figueroa. Got Carlos Castro, and then he fought in Mexico against David Carmona at lightweight. Like that was at lightweight, not super bantamweight, not even at featherweight. Not lightweight. He was a super featherweight basically against David Carmona. That's wild, yo. That's absolutely wild. So I
man.
see, this.
Like I don't know, man.
What you were saying, Zoe?
No, I'm listening.
Oh, I think you mean. No, I was saying like, I just don't see where Nery could get in here at this particular point to try to really affect Naoya Inoue. Like I haven't really seen him Inoue affected since like that first bout that he had against Nonito Donaire. That's the first Donaire fight, where he had that the eye fracture and all that type of stuff. That's pretty much been it.
Yeah.
You know, every other fight he's kind of like broken down
Even that
everybody.
fight. But I don't think like I said, Luis Nery is just I have questions because I don't know what he really is. I don't know if that guy I seen that beat Yamanaka twice is the real version of him. You feel me? I don't know if he just or this was just somebody with an unfair advantage or this is how good he really is. You feel me? But because if that's how good he really is, and this is a competitive fight, this is anyways most competitive fight. If this guy's is who I really think he is. But if not, five.
Yeah. I'm seeing the stoppage coming. I'm seeing the stoppage coming that it might even be like within 5 or 6 rounds or something like that. You know.
Yeah. But I'm wondering, but me, I'm a little curious because Nery's not no like rock'em sock'em robot. You feel me? Nery's not no rocker. He can box, bro. So I'm wondering, can he set up? Can he set up anyway for one of those big ass counter left hooks, or can he just? And I want to see how anyway react to somebody who's gonna go to the body like he goes to the body. I want to see how anyway react to a body puncher as well, man. So I'm excited for this fight, man. Because Nery, like I said, I got my question of Nery, but if it's who I think he is, it's gonna be a good fight. If he's not, 3-round stoppage, 4-round stoppage, something like that. And plus, the whole Japan hates him, so you know he got to fight against that.
Right. Yeah, for sure. You know, Beck Gomez says Inoue, beat up Fulton. He's ready for any super venom or slash junior featherweight. Yeah, I mean, and that fight, you know, like Fulton really didn't have much of a shot in that one, man. Like he just
Bro,
got blown out now.
that nigga did not win a second of that fight, Raul, bro. He did not win a
Yeah,
second of that fight, bro. That is, bro.
yeah,
That
that was
fight should that fight right there should legitimize anyway, bro. Any
yeah,
Americans, bro. Like that shit should have showed you this guy's the real deal.
yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, that's the you know, fight definitely looking forward to here coming up tonight. Like I said, over on the States. You got multiple world title fights that are on that card. You got Jason Maloney versus Yoshiki Take for the WBO bantamweight title. You got Takuma Inoue versus Sho Ashida for the WBA bantamweight title. That should be a good little scrap. And you got Seigo Ikui versus Taku Kurihara for the WBA flyweight title. That is a rematch from their bout in 2021 where Akui was able to get a stoppage victory there in the 10th and final round there in what was a close bout, you know, particularly in the cards. They had it really close between those two. So it's going to be a very good one there with that particular rematch. And like I said, that main event with Naoya Inoue versus Luis Nery. Now, just going to close out here on these last few minutes with what happened early Saturday, well, at least early Saturday over on the West Coast. There before, you know, they had the Canelo versus Munguia card start up. You had the press conference with Tank Davis and Frank Martin, and you know, it was very interesting to say the least. You know, I had said initially when this fight was announced that I was definitely looking forward to the fight. But there at the press conference, both of them were, you know, very confrontational. Tank was really vocal about Frank Martin and saying like, you ain't that guy, like you ain't it. And that he says that he's gonna show not just Frank Martin, but like his crew that Frank Martin ain't it. And of course, the other highlight to that was the whole thing after the press conference was over that, you know, they wanted to bring up what happened in sparring between those two guys. And it's like all these sparring stories, this and that. Like, I mean, even with like Tank, so to speak, right? You had like the whole, you know, backstory. They'll have stories with him and Shakur Stevenson. You know, you had the whole thing with him and Elijah Pierce. Now you got this thing here with, oh yeah, oh can't forget to mention the thing between Tank Davis and Devin Haney that was brought up multiple times. Now you got this thing here with Tank Davis and Frank Martin that they kind of like brought up, and it was basically like a nothing burger, at least to me on that. Because I mean, one, it's just sparring, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like how I treat it. Like it's sparring, it's just practice, you sharpen skills, that type of thing. That means nothing if you're actually in an actual fight. That's number one. But two, in his press conference and after the press conference, you kind of like seen Tank Davis try to, strong arm or bully up Frank Martin there, because he just really has zero confidence that Frank Martin will able to do anything to really affect him. One of the things he kind of like said during the presser was Frank Martin is there at like 135 and has, the muscles that he has, and it was like really, really kind of like bulked up there for 135. So he just doesn't feel like Frank Martin can really throw punches with a good flow or anything like that to really give Tank any issues there. But I'm still looking forward to it. Coming up June 15th in Jim Grand Garden Arena there in Las Vegas. Of course, you got the whole thing with David Benavidez going up against Alexander Gvozdyk there for the interim WBC title at 175 pounds. That is the co-feature bout. Those two guys will make for a very good fight. Gvozdyk's very experienced, former world champion there, and what was it? I think it was he was on the Tank versus Ryan card or something like that. Either it was Tank versus Ryan or was the Canelo card where I'd seen him, because that was like I don't know if that's like the latest fight he had there, but I'm trying to see if I can confirm that, because I know I had seen him on a PBC card, and it was like a real early fight that he was on there in that particular card. So yeah, that was Canelo Charlo that he was on. But yeah, he's gonna be in there against David Benavidez. Definitely looking forward to that particular fight between those two fighters. You may have more announcements about that card here within the next couple of weeks, because that's just 6 weeks away, with that fight card. So I'm seeing maybe they have potentially Gary Antoine Russell going up against Edwin De Los Santos on that card. We'll see, but if so, that's going to make for a very, very good card here in Las Vegas on June 15th. Back to the academic. Any quick thoughts on that Tank versus Frank that's coming up here?
I gotta look at Frank Martin a bit more to try to find something that makes me feel like he won't get knocked out. And maybe, maybe he will win some rounds, because, off the top of my mind, he'll be more active than Tank. But I mean, I think the inevitable is going to happen. Tank is going to hit him clean, and he's going to throw a big shot and then land a clean shot. And yeah, it's going to be tough for anybody around that weight class to recover from that. You probably got to be a bigger guy to just take them type of shots from Tank. Yeah, I mean, he might be winning on the scorecard, but I just don't know about him taking them shots clean from Tank and walking out the ring without smelling salts. So yeah, I don't know.
So you're saying it may be like another like 5th or 6th round TKO for Tank Davis here for this coming fight.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it going, 8-9, and that's just because Frank gonna tire out as the fight go on, but I think Frank is good enough to keep Tank off him early, I don't know. I think he has the potential to be good enough to keep Tank off him early. And so, he could fight a Matador, versus the Bull fight for the first half of the fight, and then after that, once he slow down, yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be an uphill climb. I'll say that.
And I mean, and I'm kind of curious here, for Tank Davis, because it's going to be, a fight, his first fight in, over a year, be 14 months since his fight against Ryan Garcia there. But, at the same token, like Frank Martin only had that one fight against Artem Harutyunyan there, I think it was like around July. When he faced Harutyunyan, and that kind of with that full, or what it was, a full 12 rounds against Harutyunyan, and kind of like was a fairly difficult bout for Frank Martin to get through. So we'll see how he performs here against the Tank Davis. He's there at like 5'8". With the reach of 68, you kind of like seeing the size, kind of like the size difference there in that face to face. But you got to see where he's at as far as like the experience in comparison to Gervonta Tank Davis. And the thing with Tank Davis now is like he's been very, very, very dedicated to working very hard in the gym, and he's been like that, for some time now. So anyone like could have type of criticisms of what Tank probably does in between time and between fights, that's out the window. So he's going to be really focused for this upcoming fight against Frank Martin on June 15th. So that's pretty much what I had here. Had a real quick thing here within an hour's time. Let's see. Pretty much going to prepare for the fight coming up tonight. Inoue versus Nery. That should be as good as long as it lasts. Excuse me. But we'll get back at it with the boxing talk on Wednesday with the midweek report here on the YouTube channel. You'll be able to catch the midweek report on the YouTube channel, and then of course the Boxing Source podcast, of course, here on YouTube Sundays. Usually scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, but at least here with me being on site. I was at the fight there for Canelo versus Munguia. That we had to kind of like delay things a little bit as far as like live goes. But before we get off, I wanted to see. I got my guy here that came back on. I wanted to have him have some comments here for about 2 or 3 minutes there, because I know he has something to say about a particular lightweight fighter there. So Zoe is back. And I was talking about the thing there at the press conference with Tank and Frank there, and I know you had some comments reference to Tank Davis. Go ahead and spill it,
Man. After the whole how his tirade this last couple of weeks, bro, you guys are starting to see what I've been saying about this guy's character. He's a bozo, man. He's a bozo.
Oh,
He's over here attacking women. He's over here like because he's trying to preserve a win. There's this Ryan Garcia win by trying to legitimize this win by saying they making this stuff up. Like, this guy's a scrub, bro. This guy's a scrub. Then you heard this comment he said, if you look at him at age 29, Floyd at 29, he's so far ahead. Like, nigga, shut up. You know what Floyd was at age 29, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, come on, bro. You got still, huh?
Are we sure he said that? Are we sure that he said that?
Yes, out his mouth. What you mean, sure? You always say that when people say stuff out their own mouth. That's on video. You always want to say that. Cause you be shocked, you be flabbergasted that the people you rock with are bums, bro. Got bum characters, bro.
No, I
Oh
just
man.
want to make sure that everybody say somebody said something, but did you actually you saw him say it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, he has a lot of clips right now because he's been doing a lot of interviews and stuff, man. This man's a scrub, man. This man
man.
even telling Ryan Garcia, man, that whole Ryan Garcia angle is so corny. And I know why he's doing it. Because Ryan Garcia is the only one he has to legitimize himself, dog. And that's not even an now
Oh,
he's
come
trying to
on,
see as a
man.
delegitimized, you feel me? Because that boy's taking compound V.
Well, all I know is they always come up with some Floyd versus Tank strife every time Tank has a fight. And then people always, I mean, maybe it's real, maybe it's not, but what I do know is this shit always happen every time Tank have a fight.
But even,
I
like
don't care about drama, so that shit, it is what it is to me.
I tell people this all the time. Objectively, the only difference between a Tank fan and a Canelo fan is the race. They're the same weirdos. They're the same weirdos, bro.
Oh man.
It's the same
Oh,
kind of weirdos. It's the same kind of we're gonna justify whatever move he make type thing, man. It's just oh my goodness.
well, there you have it. There you have it, folks. That's Lord Zoe in the
Tank,
building there with his take on
Tank by
Big
8-5
David.
knockout. Tank by 8-5 knockout. With that being said,
Yeah. So he still picks Tank to defeat Frank Martin by 8th round knockout. All right,
yeah.
that's it from here on this version of the Boxing Source podcast on Cinco de Mayo or whatever it is. Y'all get y'all tequilas up or whatever you want to, margaritas and all that type of stuff, man. Big ups for everyone that's supported here live on YouTube or X or whatever it is. We got the social media platforms that y'all can follow. Also, but with
Viva
that
la
being
Mexico,
said,
cabrons!
oh god. With that being said, folks, I'm out. Peace, y'all.